Hey, and welcome back to my channel. This is Rebirth for Life. My name is Jay. I'm a counseling therapist, and this channel is all about relationships and breakups. I also have an anxious attachment style, and I am a survivor of an attempted suicide, which was a result of being in a 5-year relationship with a narcissistic, abusive person. Remember to like, share, and turn on notifications for any other videos coming up. So let's talk. So what are we talking about today? Today, we are talking about the 3 elements that I believe make a healthy relationship, whether it be platonic or whether it be intimate, more so for intimacy, and it's something I like to call E.C.P. And that is the ego dismantlement, communication, and being present in the relationship. So what does this mean? So first we have to know what the ego is. The ego is your sense of self, how you view yourself, how you view the world, and how the world views you. And this can be a real struggle depending on your upbringing, your circumstances, your values, your beliefs, any childhood traumas that you may have been dealing with. So with the ego, it brings up a lot of fear, shame, guilt, and pride. These are things that result in really, really bad communication in the relationship. So if you have fear, shame, and guilt, when it comes to communication in the relationship, there is no give and there's not a lot of receive. It can be very, very unbalanced. Prime example of this is your partner might have a disagreement with you, and it may be something that is not really, it may be a criticism. Let's say it's a criticism, but the criticism is healthy for the relationship, or it may be a boundary that's been put in place that's healthy for the relationship. Now, if you're in your ego and you've got fear, shame, and guilt, you're not going to be able to accept that criticism or accept that boundary that's been put in place by your partner. Because something they've said, you might feel shameful for it, you may feel guilty for it, or you may feel fearful for acknowledging that criticism or acknowledging that boundary, because you may think you may not be able to keep that boundary, and if you cross that boundary, there may be a fear of loss, for example. And in the other direction is when you're having communication, especially when it may be a heated argument, a heated discussion. Because you've got this fear, shame, and guilt, you're not able to communicate and say exactly what it is you want to say. Because if you say what you want to say, what's really on your mind, your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, you're fearful that that person might take it the wrong way and leave you. Or you feel guilty that you're bringing up these thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you've kept inside because you don't really want to share it. Or you may actually feel shameful for these thoughts, feelings, emotions that you want to share. It may not be something that you feel comfortable with. So that's the E. And then you've got the C, the communication aspect. So if the ego is present, you're not able to communicate in a healthy manner. You're not able to have positive regard for that person. You're not able to actively listen to that person because you're in your state of ego. You're not able to empathize for that person. You're not able to see things from that person's point of view because you're in your ego side, your shame, your fear, your guilt. And you're not able to question that person correctly, and you're not able to summarize what that person's saying correctly. And then you've got the P, which is your present state, being in the present moment of that relationship. And this is a huge, huge issue, because a lot of times in relationships, we can think about past events that's happened in the relationship, past events that's happened in previous relationships, and bring that into the relationship, which causes massive communication issues. We don't want to say what we're thinking, we don't want to say what we're feeling, because we remember a past event, how that conversation went, with your last partner, or how that conversation went previously when you had a disagreement, it didn't really go so well. That caused a massive issue. And also, when you're not present, you might also be thinking too much of the future. Again, you're not in the present moment. If I say this and I say that, then how is that going to affect my future? They might leave me. I put all my eggs in this one basket and they might leave, and what's going to happen? So ECP is so, what's the word? It's a staple of a good relationship, whether it be platonic or whether it be intimate. You can take that into any aspect of a relationship. Dropping your ego, having good communication, and being present in the moment. So how do we do this? What are the tools and tips I can give to show you how to do this? A good way of doing this is meditation. Sounds a bit hokey pokey. A lot of people don't really, if you're not spiritual or religious, you might think, oh, meditation, Zen. No, meditation's more than just the meditation is just allowing yourself to be still and be in the present moment. And when you do that continuously, it becomes something that's unconscious. You learn to unconsciously be in the present moment, which then allows you to consciously be in the present moment. And it's the same when you're practicing your communication and you're practicing your empathy and you're practicing active listening. Being in the present moment really helps these things. But I mean, meditation doesn't only have to be the old cross-legged. Meditation can just be anything that puts you in a present state where you're not distracted. And that can be, I mean, I like to meditate, but some other exercises I do to put me in the present state, I like to paint, because I'm focused on that task. I'm focused on that present moment of doing the painting. I like to look after my plants. I've got a lot of plants. You can't see it, but my house looks like a jungle. It's like a jungle in here. Sorry. But yeah, look after my plants, nurture my plants. Anything that puts you in a present state. So remember, E.C.P. Dismantlement of the ego, having good communication, or should I say healthy communication, and being present in the moment. That's not future faking. That's not living in the past. I'll get more to future faking later on, but you can still be in the present moment and still think about your future. You can set goals and be aligned in this present future moment that are going to be attributed to the future. So you're not really fantasizing about the future. You have a goal for the future, but you're living in the present moment for the future. So yeah, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for any upcoming videos. Leave a comment down below if you've got any suggestions on any videos you'd like to see, or if you just want to make any comments on things I've spoken about, or even if you want a part 2 where I can explain a little bit more.